Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide, how to watch the Super Rugby final. It is all coming down to the Crusaders and the Chiefs. Will it be yet another Crusaders title, or will the Chiefs be able to dethrone the current champion Scott Robertson in his final as a Crusaders coach before he then does become the All Blacks coach next year? So a pretty big occasion for him. And I'll tell you what, if you looked at the Crusaders in the last couple of weeks, it's very difficult to bet for anybody else except for them. But I'll tell you what, the Chiefs are a side when they pitch up. They can definitely do it. So I think it's set to be an absolute cracker, and hopefully it will be a match that really sort of lives up to the billing. But in terms of how to watch all the action and make sure you don't miss any of it, this is what we're here to show you. First of all, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, the good news is it is being shown on Channel 9, which is a free-to-air broadcaster. So if you're inside Australia, you'll be able to watch it. If you're outside Australia, you'll still be able to watch it for free, but through the use of a VPN, which is a virtual private network. Basically, what a VPN does, it geolocates your device to make it seem as if you are somewhere else, in this case, in Australia. And so first things first, you're going to download a VPN. We recommend ExpressVPN. Link down in the description, as well as Bitdefender, who are one of our channel partners. So you go and check them out. Those are the two options down in the comments below. Both of them will work. And what you're going to do is you're going to, so they're going to show you ExpressVPN. You're going to install it. This is what it's going to look like. As you can see, I'm currently connected to a Sydney server in Australia. You're going to go to those three dots on the right here. You'll find and select an Australian server, and then you will turn it on. Because it's turned on, that is currently Channel 9 that we're busy watching. As you can see by the TV guide, this is the final over there. Chiefs versus Crusaders being shown over there. Kickoff is at 9 o'clock South African Standard Time. And it is available on Channel 9. And as I said, there it is currently happening. If unfortunately you do not have a VPN, then if you go to that channel and you're not connected to an Australia server, you will not be able to watch any of the action. It will not work because it is only available. It is geolocated in Australia. So if you try and go to the website, even if the website, before you even try and watch anything, you'll come up with this page over here saying it's geo-blocked. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Apart from that, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon. And we are live. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is EPCR Pool Draw Day, which means that in the next 35 minutes, the pool, maybe next sort of 40 minutes, the pools for the 2023-2024 Champions Cup and Challenge Cup will take place. And we're going to take you through it. We're going to be doing a live update. We're going to be doing a live sort of pools over here so you can see exactly what's plotting and you can find out where your team is going to be drawn again. So, two draws. First draw will be the Champions Cup, and it's a good time to recap the format. And we'll do that in a little bit if you guys have missed it. But yeah, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know who your team is, what sort of teams you're looking to try and that you're supporting, for example, and what teams would you like to draw yourself again. So yeah, as I said, the first draw starts in about 5 minutes, which is the Champions Cup draw, and that will be followed by the Challenge Cup draw about 20 minutes after that begins. So yeah, and let's settle in really. But before the draw does start, and I think it's about to begin, just trying to make sure I can get it working on my PC over here. And we're going to go through the format, explain exactly how it works. 4 pools of 6 for the Champions Cup, 3 pools of 6 for the Challenge Cup, and a different format to what we had this past season, which just didn't really work, if we're being brutally honest. So they have changed it. And yeah, now we're going to move into a different format, and hopefully it will, with it will come a really exciting and action-packed tournament. And if my if EPCR TV could start working, that would be wonderful. So I'll take it all back. It's the other way around, I think, actually. I think it is the... Yeah, so the Challenge Cup draw will take place first, followed by the Challenge Cup. I mean, the Champions Cups. Challenge Cup first, and then the best for last, in theory. And yeah, that should get underway in the next few minutes. And as I said, we will be having a live. There we go. That's very dramatic music. Yeah, so the draw will be starting very shortly, and yeah, we'll keep you up to date with all that's happening there on the graphic and stuff like that. Right, let's go through the format, shall we? Because it has changed quite a lot from the past season, which just didn't really work, did it? And it gets a bit complicated, and so yeah, it's probably a good idea to go through exactly how it's going to happen. Okay, so this is how it's going to happen. So first of all, it is when we look at the Champions Cup. There will be 4 pools of 6 teams. Pool 1, Pool 2, Pool 3, and Pool 4. Maybe we should change our name to Pool 1. We can do that as we go. In terms of the key principles, it's each pool will contain 2 clubs from each of the leagues. Clubs from the same URC Shield cannot be in the same pool. So, for example, the Irish teams can't be in the same pool. The South African teams can't be in the same pool. For example, there will be no matches, however, between clubs from the same league. So in order to create the fixture, the club will play 4 matches against 4 different clubs who are not from the league that they are in. So that is so yeah. So for example, the South African teams will not play against any other URC sides in the group stages. It will only happen in the playoffs at the very earliest. So yeah, we don't have to worry too much about that. And there we go. For the purpose of the draw, it says the clubs will be divided into 2 tiers, Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 will be La Rochelle, Saracens, Munster, as well as Toulouse, who obviously won the top 14. So it's the 3 winners of each league, plus the overall winners of the current winners of the Champions Cup. If it's the same, if the Champions Cup winner, for example, is also the winner of their domestic one, then whoever the domestic runner-up is gets the top tier spot there. Actually, no, the finalists from the Champions Cup get that extra spot in Tier 1. So to start the process, the 4 Tier 1 clubs will be drawn in the first club out of the drum pool going to Pool 1, the second club out of the drum pool going to Pool 2, the third club out of the drum pool into Pool 3, and so and so. So the first things first, we will be, as I said, they'll be starting with the Tier 1 to sort of decide which pools they're going to go into, and then they'll draw from the rest. So then the remaining 20 clubs in the Champions Cup in the Tier 2 will then be drawn and allocated to the pools. If a club cannot be drawn to a pool in accordance with our key principle, the club will be allocated to the next available pool. The process will then restart at the pool into which the initial club could not be drawn. There will be 18 clubs in the Challenge Cup. 8 from the URC, 6 from the top 14, 2 from the Premiership, and 2 invited clubs, which will be announced shortly. Each pool contains 2 top 14 clubs. Clubs from the same URC Shield, same principle, cannot be in the same pool. No South African teams, Sharks and Lions can't be in the same pool. And same with the Welsh teams as well as the Italian teams. 2 Premiership clubs and the 2 inviters will also be drawn and allocated to different pools. Clubs will play 4 different opponents, home or away, during the pool stage, with the same league matches being kept to a minimum and only impacting clubs from the URC. To start the process, all 18 clubs will be placed in the drum, and any 3 balls will be drawn separately, with the first club out of the drum going to Pool 1, Pool 2, Pool 3. They'll continue in an open basis, with the next club out of the drum going to Pool 1, Pool 2, and so on, until all clubs are drawn and allocated, providing the key principles are adhered to. If a club cannot be drawn to a pool, they will go into the next available pool. The process then restarts, etc., etc. So that is what is going to happen in a nutshell, really. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and I will try and answer them. But apart from that, as I said, in theory, we should be getting going very soon. This EPCR, I mean, why is it whenever like these people do, what are they actually showing? And they have to, they do it on their own specific platform, so they can get all the exclusive viewers. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work. I mean, it's been buffering now for ages. So it's very frustrating. Because in theory, we have begun. And we have begun. There we go. Slowly but surely, we're going to get there. Oh, it's in Italian. I mean, French at the moment, so I can't translate. But it's just still buffering. It's just so useless. Why are all internal things always so bad? Just do it on YouTube. Like, stop trying to have this fancy, you know, our own system. You know, we're going to, you know, put it into our, you know, our own little platform, which never works.
Following a spectacular and record-breaking 2022
Yeah.
EPCR.
Shut up. So you're gonna have to might be a couple of seconds delayed. Yeah, this is a bit of a non-starter here, so we have to wait on the updates. But yeah, we should be hopefully getting the Challenge Cup draw underway very, very shortly. Dave says he's pointing Sharks teeth in the same league don't play each other in the cups. Yep, so they won't play. Well, they can in the Challenge Cup. They're trying to avoid it, but in theory they can. What's my prediction for the Stormers pool? I don't know, to be honest. There's so many teams that they can be drawn against. You know, can't be drawn against the Bulls, but that's about it, really. Obviously, it depends on sort of which pool they go in terms of the tiers and stuff like that. But I've got no idea, to be perfectly honest. This is just not working. Right, let's see. I'm trying to see if I can get it working on my phone. Because this is just coming and going, unfortunately. There's an app. Things always tend to work better on an app. I'm going on my phone as well. A little bit of a backup. Busy watching Kids and Colby rip shit up. Nope, it's just as bad on the phone as it is on the PC. I mean, just put it on YouTube, people. It's not hard. It's not hard, and I've restarted. We've completely restarted. Yeah, this is going well. If anybody else is watching on the official EPCR TV, let me know if you're having any issues. I'm having all the issues here. I mean, it literally plays for 2 seconds and then buffers. Let's see if we try and put ourselves in Europe. Maybe it's use a VPN. Let's see if old. Right, I think we're back. I think we went down tape already, but I think we should be back. And this does seem to work a bit better, actually. Touch wood. Good old ExpressVPN clutching up. So if you have any issues, try VPN apparently. Right, here we go. We're about to get underway here. They're basically looking into the different teams and stuff like that before we start allocating people. So we're going to get ready to update Pool 1 in the Challenge Cup. Yeah, so Gloucester and Newcastle, the two qualifiers from the Premiership. Ah, they haven't named them. I was really hoping they were going to name them. They're busy going through the principles and stuff like that. So we're still probably going to take another minute or two before the draw actually starts. So what sort of teams do we want to see each other play against each other? I mean, for example, we could have Stormers taking on Toulouse, could have Bulls taking on a Leicester Tigers or Saracens, for example. One of these cool teams. The problem is when you get drawn against top 14 side, even if it's a South African game, you're not going to see your top players. They don't send them out here. So if you do get Toulouse, you're not going to be playing against Romain Intermac and Anton Dupont and the likes, unfortunately. You get to the semi-finals, for example, there's a chance, but yeah, they generally just only kind of play the home game. Come on, let's get going. Let's get going. All right, here we go. What have we got for us here? Pool 1. Who's going to be the first team into Pool 1? A lot of French going on. Yeah, I need to work on my French if you're going to stay in these competitions. Ah, good old Alma. Alma's over there. Alma Smith is doing the draw here. So the Sharks. The Lions. Branson have gone in there. But it's not like the Champions League in the Europa where they've got little scree balls, little pieces of paper. No, they've got their own damn ball. If you're looking to watch the draw, it is on EPCR TV. So go to the EPCR website, or it's actually epcrrugby.tv. Castres Olympique has gone into the draw. Clement has gone into the draw as well. Montpellier. Okay, let's go, Alma. Just start dumping them. Just start throwing them in there. Yusuf have gone into the draw. Oh yeah, nah, Rugby have gone into the draw as well. I wonder how Alma Smith's French is. I mean, the guy keeps talking to her in French, and she's obviously definitely got an earpiece. Newcastle Falcons. Come on, people, just drop the ball in. Right, the first ball is out, and it is invitee 1. Well, that's boring. So first one into there is invitee 1. In fact, we've skipped ahead, yeah. Crosses, they're flying over here. Alma, wait. We can't keep up with you. Ospreys have gone into pool number 2. Edinburgh have gone into pool number 3. Goodness me. Newcastle Falcons. They join the Ospreys and I mean, Alma, can you just give us a chance here? So now we've drawn 9 clubs, and as you can see, in Pool 1 we have 9 clubs. I'm on like 5 here. Okay, I think we've had to allocate. So Zebra going to pool 1. I'm in pool 1. If I'm the Lions, I'm checking out that pool going, thank you very much. And Newcastle Falcons have gone into group 2. Hey, come on, the lads. The Lions are out here. Where are we going? Pool 2. Ah, shit. Invited 2 will go into pool 3, if I'm not mistaken. We have blown through this. Okay, so pool 3 will be Gloucester as well. Finally catching up here. Oh, yeah, now Rugby are going to go into pool 1, I believe. Ah, I'm missing somebody here in pool 1. Who am I missing? Dragons are going into pool. Right, the Sharks. Pool 3, I think. Pool 1. So the Sharks go into 1. Which I believe, yep, that finished that pool. Prices. The Lions have got the freaking pool of death here. Right, and then the last one goes to pool 2 is Benetton. And Scarlet's the last one into group pool 3. Woo! I'm exhausted. Right, there we go. Right, chaps. I'm not happy. I'm not happy as a Lions fan. Goodness me, that's a pull. Lions with Benton, Montpellier, Newcastle Falcons, USAP, and Ospreys. I mean, Ospreys were really good in the Challenge Cup this last season. Right, so here we go. Let's have a look at this, shall we? Right, so pool 1 is invitee 1, section who? Zebra, Dragons. No, not invitee 2. Who am I missing? It shouldn't be invitee 2. I'm missing somebody here. Sharks were in pool 2. Who was pool 2? Pool 1. Who was in pool 1 before the Sharks? Zebra are there. Pool 1. Dragons are there. Hoover section there. Do I have too many? No, I'm missing somebody in pool 1. Invitee 1, pool 1. Section pool 1. Dragons should be ahead of Zebra, but then Zebra. Then yes, there we go. Now we're not even missing. Pool 1. Dragons actually came ahead of Zebra. And it's not invitee 2. It's next Rugby. Rugby. Right, there we go. That's the final. That's the official pools. Right, what do we think, people? Now I can actually go to the comments, stuff like that. Let's hope that the Champions Cup will be a little bit slower than that. Christ, I can barely keep up there. I'm just prepping myself for the Champions Cup, which will start in 3 minutes apparently. Yeah, listen, that's a pretty hectic pool from the Lions. The Sharks, I don't think that's a bad pool, actually. So I think that pool 3 is probably the toughest pool. I think. I think people even saying it in the comments there. It's not a. I mean, as Edinburgh, you're playing, for example, Castres, Clermont, Gloucester, and potentially whoever invited to. That's a hell of a couple of people to have to play. So yeah, that's not an easy pool at all. I think pool 1's where you want to be at. And it's difficult to look at these pools because obviously, as I said, you don't necessarily play all the different teams, so it's it's difficult to you actually have to think about it a bit. Invitee 1 could be the Cheetahs and they can play the Sharks. Yes, so for example, if the Cheetahs are invitee 1 or invitee 2, they can play against the Sharks. If they're invitee 2, obviously they'll be by themselves. But yeah, they can play the Sharks. Because they're not from the same league and on the URC and on the same conference in the URC. So that's not an issue at all. So the Cheetahs can play the Sharks if they do get drawn into there. In fact, they will play the Sharks. They'd rather play Sharks versus Cheetahs than Sharks versus Dragons and Sharks versus Zebra in terms of the way that the entire draw is working. And now I'm not quite sure I'm going to get this. Right, we're back, hopefully. 2020. Right, here we go. The Champions Cup now is getting ready to go. Hopefully, we've got no buffering issue. And we should be able to get through it quite straightforwardly, hopefully. London 24, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Adam saying, how invited selected? What's the criteria? I actually don't know. I think that one of them will be a non-URC Premiership or top 14 side. So I think they'll go and look at a Spanish side or a Georgian side or one of those sides like that. Invited 2, one of them we're hoping that will be the Cheetahs. I don't think there is necessarily specific criteria. I think it comes down to agreements that they've got with the various stakeholders and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure one of them will be the Cheetahs. For me, that would make sense. But we wait and see, don't we? Give me a Leinster versus La Rochelle group. Yeah, that actually can happen. Interestingly enough, because Leinster didn't win anything, so they're not going to be in tier 1. So tier 1 will be Toulouse, Munster, Saracens, and La Rochelle. They can't be drawn next to each other. After that, it's pretty much free game, really. Oh, this is very emotional. Sound the drums and all that, yada 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 yada. Announce a cool sponsor. Apparently Heineken is pulling out, which is quite a big thing actually. If they were to pull out, but I mean it's been a Heineken Cup for years and years and years. So it'd be interesting to see how they're going to fill that sort of financial void that might be left. But anyway, we've got the Champions Cup stream coming up very shortly. Like I said, bro, do you think the Southern Kings should be reinstated and play in the European competition like the Cheetahs? No, not until Eastern Cape Rugby sorts its shit out. I mean, at this stage, they didn't even win the Currie Cup First Division. Didn't even get close. So they are definitely not even one of the top 10 best sides in the country at the moment. If they can get funding and they can sort themselves out and they can get themselves where they are one of the top 10% of the country and even more start pushing for being the top sort of 5, then you can have that conversation. But that union's just such a mess. So yeah, until they start taking themselves seriously, we're not going to take them seriously. Right, here we go. So here we go. It's the big Champions Cup draw. Bordeaux, Racing, Toulon, Stade Francais, Toulouse, La Rochelle, Lyon. Some pretty big, cool teams involved in these. In the Premiership, it is Saracens, Sale Sharks, Leicester Tigers, Northampton Saints, Harlequins, Exeter, Bath, and Bristol Bears. Basically, if you're still actually existing as a Prem club, you're basically in the Champions Cup. Only 2 of them aren't. It's gotten to that point, isn't it? Those Legos horrible. Yeah, it's yeah, it's a problem, isn't it, that all the South African teams have their big sort of sponsors added to their next to them and stuff. I don't really know how you get around that because they've obviously got these long-term deals and the next sponsorship deals. I suppose maybe you can argue against it. They're saying we don't want to be part, but yeah, a lot of the South African sponsors I think will be quite hesitant to go and sign. They're not going to be part of the name, for example, because we do sell our naming rights, which doesn't happen overseas. Which is why it is the DHL Stormers, the Emirates Lions, the South Sea Sharks, the Vodacom Bulls. Yeah. Let's go. Come on, we all did our back. We all did our research. We all did the Heineken's still there, by the way, and I suppose they would be until they're not. Interesting though. Kappa, DHL, all part of the partners. We're going through the tier 1 clubs that we spoke about earlier. So yeah, what's everybody's sort of initial reaction to that Challenge Cup? I'm quite the Lions. We might get to come and watch potentially. Montpellier could be quite cool. They come down here. Ospreys will be interesting to see who's playing there. Newcastle Falcons could be quite a cool game to watch. Right, let's get Alma going. Yeah, there she is. And then they've got somebody who is verifying the draw with a pretty impressive moustache, to be fair to him. Stade Rochelet, La Rochelle, Stade Toulousain. The French club's going first. Saracens. And Munster. Right, so there we go. This is analysis in the start. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to 3, 4 pools in a row. Let's see who's going to go into pool 1 first. Right, Alma, what have you got for us? Saracens. I actually predicted that. If you go and look at my graphic over here, I actually had Saracens there already. So Saracens go into pool 1. Toulouse goes into pool 2. Munster into Munster go into pool 2 and pool 3. And that means that La Rochelle will be in pool 4. Right, all that updated on my side. Yeah, we go. We're actually up to date here. Right, Alma, hit us with the team. Racing 92 will go into. Oh, we're just putting everybody else back in. Sorry. I'm even ahead of myself here. That's how much this is going substantially better than the Challenge Cup draw. Nice to have a little bit of a break. Now we've got our pools. There we go. So those are our pools. The question is who's going to go into which pool here? Leicester Tigers go into the ball. Right, so let's see who are the partners here. Maybe we should get the sponsors in here. Gilbert, IHG, Hotels, DHL's there. It's it ready. You get a hotel sponsor. I don't want to get traveling. Where should we go? Maybe we should go watch the Champions Cup. Watch the final at the London Stadium. Stormers have gone into the Glasgow. I got into them. I like them. They're going to be my Champions Cup team, I think. I think they're going to be my Champions Cup team back in the buggers. Right, Alma, what do you got for us? Pool 1. Right, Bordeaux go into Pool 1. Cardiff go into Pool 2. Leinster. The sounds of it. So it does look like it'll be a Munster Leinster pool. No, it isn't. No, is it? No, it's not. I thought I heard Leinster. Bulls. Yeah, so they go into Pool 1. So Bulls into Pool 1 with Saracens and Bordeaux. Where my boys Glasgow going? They're going into Pool 2. I'm busy trying to find out who my Pool 3 was. Bath. Evan Bennett. They were the ones that went to Pool 3. I think Bath have gone to Pool 3 as well. And then Leicester Tigers should be going to Pool 4 then. Yeah. So, no, what have you done? La Rochelle, Stade Francais, and Leicester Tigers into Pool 4. Right, that's how it's all looking. Why is Pool 4 not updating? All right, there we go. All right, that's how the pools currently sit. Saracens, Bordeaux with the Bulls. Right, Bristol Bears. Where are they going to go? They will go into Pool 1. The Stormers, right, there we go. They're going to go into pool 2, I think. I think they can go into pool 2. Amen. Why has that gone to there now? This is a disaster. I think the Stormers have gone into pool 2, if I'm not mistaken. Cardiff Bath in pool 2. Sorry, people, this is all going haywire here. That's correct. Pool 3 is Glasgow Warriors. That's all correct. And then pool 4 is La Rochelle, Stade Francais, Leicester Tigers. Yeah, that's correct. But now I'm falling a little bit behind. So Stormers have gone to pool 4. Okay, Bears into pool 1. Have we got that? Yeah. Racing into pool 2. Connacht into pool 1, which is almost finished. Yeah, Harlequins into pool 2. Leinster, right. Where's Leinster going? Pool 4. Right, good luck. So the Stormers won't play them, so that's fine. Mayday. Here we go. Extra Chiefs into pool 3. Why is this so quickly? Like, how are we supposed to like try and focus here? And Toulon have also gone into pool 3. And now Northampton Saints. So that's pool 3 completed. Leona into pool 1. Who finished after Harlequins? Ulster. Group 3's finished. And my last one for 4 is... Hey man, how have we got this? For pool 4, Stormers, Leinster, Sail Sharks. Yeah, it's fine. And there we go. Has it all updated? I hope so. Why does this one keep going blank? There we go. I think that's all correct. It looks pretty correct. I'll double check in a moment, but this is blooming. I think this is correct. I'm just checking to see. Right, where's the graphic? Right, there we go. So, Pool 1, let's confirm it. It's Saracens, Bordeaux, Bulls, Bristol Bears, Connacht, Lyon. Correct. Pool 2 is Toulouse, Cardiff, Bath, Racing, Harlequins, Ulster. Pool 3 is Munster, Aviron Bainet, Glasgow Warriors, Exeter Chiefs, Toulon, Northampton Saints. Perfect. Then Pool 4 is La Rochelle, Stade Francais, Leicester Tigers, Stormers, Leinster, Sale Sharks. That is correct. All right, cool. So we move. We move. That is the end of the draw, people. That is the end of the draw. So, what do we think? Those are the pools for the Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup. The only thing we still need to confirm are the 2 invitees for the Challenge Cup. But apart from that, the draw is complete. And let's have a look at them, shall we? That Pool 4 is disgusting. I mean, it's got Leicester Tigers, who were the Premiership champions last season, with Sale Sharks, who made the Premiership final this season, with the Stormers, who were the URC champions last season, made the final this season, with Leinster, who made the Champions Cup final, Stade Francais, not a bad side, and then La Rochelle, who are the current Champions Cup finals. So, I mean, we're going to have La Rochelle versus Stormers. We're going to have Leicester Tigers versus Stormers. We have Leicester Tigers versus Leinster. Leinster versus La Rochelle in the groups. Oh my goodness, this is going to be wild. Pool 3 is not terrible. I think Pool 2 is quite tough. I think Pool 2 is quite tough. Pool 1, are the Bulls going to be happy? They're going to be playing Saracens, Bordeaux, Bristol, and Lyon. I don't think they'll be that unhappy compared to what the Stormers have to play. Stormers definitely in the group of death. That's definitely the one. So I'll go Pool 4, I think, is probably the toughest. After that, probably maybe Pool 1 or 2. I'm trying to decide. Maybe Pool 1. I suppose it depends on if we're considering Bulls a tough side, which sounds very harsh, but they've not been very good in this last year. So, that's a hectic draw. A very, very hectic draw. So if I'm the Bulls, I'd take that draw, to be honest, because... Yeah, no, listen, you don't want to be in that Pool 4, eh? You do not want to be in that Pool 4. And that's it, people. Thank you very much for joining me. We are going to log off here. It was, it's been a pretty long, it's pretty hectic, to be honest. And we've got lots of stuff to do, lots of content stuff to get myself sorted. So, I think the best thing is to sort of let us digest this. We will be live tomorrow for the rugby news, where we can kind of sort of dissect this a little bit more, I think. But yeah, let me know what you think of the draw, and I will see you guys all next. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide, how to watch the Super Rugby final. It is all coming down to the Crusaders and the Chiefs. Would it be yet another Crusaders title, or will the Chiefs be able to dethrone the current champions Scott Robertson in his final as a Crusaders coach before he then does become the All Blacks coach next year? So a pretty big occasion for him. And I'll tell you what, if you looked at the Crusaders in the last couple of weeks, it's very difficult to bet for anybody else except for them. But I'll tell you what, the Chiefs are a side when they pitch up. They can definitely do it. So I think it's set to be an absolute cracker. And hopefully it will be a match that really sort of lives up to the billing. But in terms of how to watch all the action and make sure you don't miss any of it, this is what we're here to show you. First of all, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, the good news is it is being shown on Channel 9, which is a free-to-air broadcaster. So if you're inside Australia, you'll be able to watch it. If you're outside Australia, you'll still be able to watch it free, but through the use of a VPN, which is a virtual private network. Basically, what a VPN does, it geolocates your device to make it seem as if you are somewhere else, in this case, in Australia. And so first things first, you're going to download a VPN. We recommend ExpressVPN. Link down in the description, as well as Bitdefender, who are one of our channel partners. So you go and check them out. Those are the two options down in the comments below. Both of them will work. And what you're going to do is you're going to, so they're going to show you ExpressVPN. You're going to install it. This is what it's going to look like. As you can see, I'm currently connected to a Sydney server in Australia. You're going to go to those 3 dots on the right here. You'll find and select an Australian server, and then you will turn it on. Because it's turned on, that is currently Channel 9 that we're busy watching. As you can see by the TV guide, this is the final over there. Chiefs versus Crusaders being shown over there. Kickoff is at 9 o'clock South African Standard Time, and it is available on Channel 9. And as I said, there it is currently happening. If unfortunately you do not have a VPN, then if you go to that channel and you're not connected to an Australia server, you will not be able to watch any of the action. It will not work because it is only available. It is geolocated in Australia. So if you try and go to the website, even if the website, before you even try and watch anything, you'll come up with this page over here saying it's geo-blocked. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Apart from that, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Rehab is going well. Working hard, and it's great to be working in the team environment. I think it helps a lot with my mental side as well, just to see the work that's happening. I think if I wasn't here, I would actually miss out on a lot that the group is doing. And it's really good to do the rehab here because I've got guys that I can lean on, like Archie, Andre, and Peter Steff, who have been speaking a lot. Obviously, they've done knees as well. So, yeah, it's been really good.
Any feelings of discomfort?
On my knee? Us talk. No, I feel good. Obviously, each day is different, but I take it day by day. But the nice thing is I've been here before. I've been through this. So, I know I just got to take each day, but I'm feeling good and confident that I'll be fine.
Yeah, just on that, is there a feeling of deja vu? It's back in Pretoria, back in the lead up to the World Cup, back here after the injury. It's like you've done this before.
Yeah, 100%. It sucks. It's not nice to be in this position, but the nice things I've been here before, and with both Jack and Rashi, it's been good to feel backed and supported like this, and the medical team is working really hard. But the nice thing is that I've been through it before. It's not like it's the first time I'm going through this. And there's other guys in the team who's been through the same thing as well, which is helping quite a lot.
Is that it? No.
Coach Jock, just take us through last week. You guys confirmed that you're taking 2 teams. It's now been a week since then. Have you gone through your processes? Obviously, have you got a better idea of what those 2 teams are going to entail and who you're going to take, or is it too far away still to say?
No, I think we've got a pretty good idea but on the one end we've got a pretty good idea, but on the other end there's still a lot of things that need to happen. Like for instance, last week with Andre and with Damian Willems struggling with injuries. I mean, there will still be issues like that. So I think we've got an idea what we would like to do, but it's too early still for us to say, listen, it's going to be these guys. So we, like we normally do, we will do team selection like almost every day. If we had to go now, who do we take? So we in our minds, we're pretty much aligned, but there's still a lot of time still before we can go, okay, listen, these guys are ready medically.
When is the final decision going to be taken then? On the squad split, if I can put it that way.
Yes, probably I would say it's probably the week before Australia. We will have a pretty good idea of, listen, who is come back from injury, so who we can select. I think probably the week before Australia.
Kim? Jacques, just following up on that, obviously your whole plan in the Rugby Championship is geared towards getting you guys prepared for the World Cup. It's very sort of focused on yourselves. But it's an Australian team that, no one really knows what to expect. New look side, new coach. Is there kind of a bit of a thought that maybe you want to kind of get dominance over them from the get-go, as well as the temptation to go, we want to make sure that we get on top of them at the start of their season as well?
Yeah, I think we mentioned last week that it will not be an A and a B side. similar to what we did in 2019. I mean, I think in 2019, if you look at the team that played against Australia that started that game, I think a lot of people thought that that was an A and a B side. But Beast started against Australia. He started in the World Cup final. Bongi started against Australia. He started in the World Cup final. Lewitt and Eben started. Peter Steff started. So I think in terms of that, a lot of people thought it's an A and a B side. We will probably do the same. It will not be an A and a B side. It will be a side that we will believe is good enough to beat Australia here at Loftus. So yeah, that will be our mindset in terms of that. And yeah, maybe on Australia, yeah, like you rightly mentioned, there's lots of changes there. So I think that's probably one of the games where we will probably focus internally on us and what we do, because I think it will be quite difficult for us to say, listen, is Australia going to have a Dave Rennie flavour or a Eddie Jones flavour? You know, we're not sure. So probably focusing on us will be the key.
John Klein has been cleared to join you. When is he coming?
No, John Klein is here. Yeah, he's in camp,
And
yeah.
Elton?
Elton's also in camp. Yep.
Rassi, how is it different this time around? Obviously, a slightly different role for you, but you're defending champions now. There's a spotlight cast firmly on you guys. Is it very different, or is it a case of processes and keeping the approach the same?
Yeah, I think the nice thing about this group, who's been together for a very long time, is the fact that we're very realistic, and we don't often get dragged into what people are saying or thinking. You know, we know realistically that in 2019 isn't doing that. But yes, the expectations, definitely, we feel that on our shoulders, because people expect from us to go and do it, and we're certainly going to try.
Rassi, also, you know, we've taken advantage of the Jean Klein situation, but the Pacific Island teams are having a bit of a ball there as well. Has that added a bit of an extra bit of bite to this World Cup? You know, Tonga have been filling their side up with All Black and Aussie, you know, sort of rejects. So do you think that's going to add even more to this?
Yeah, to be honest with you, in the beginning, we did vote against it, but now if you actually see what happens with the Tongan team, you think it's so fair. You know, it's fair for them to get guys who were born there and maybe played for another country and come back to Tonga. And when I look back at it, not because we got John Klein after that, is actually sometimes for those teams, they were seen as the minnows or the lesser favorites in a group. And now all of a sudden, you've got these guys that are world class, and they don't just get together at the highest level at the World Cup. They were playing in really tough competitions earlier for other countries and in other competitions. Now, I do think that sometimes having really weak teams in your pool doesn't help you a lot when you get into a quarterfinal and a semi-final. Well, if you do, because you have to still beat them now and Scotland and the other two teams in our pool. So I'm actually glad that, I know it's going to be tough, and I'm not jamming them up at all. I just know of those names. If you start naming those names in that Tongan team, it's going to go on a hell of a match. But I think that's great. We don't like to go down and go up and go down again. Go up, all, and hopefully get to that quarterfinals and eventually the final.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope all is well. Sure. Just talk us through having Elton back. I'm not sure this question will be asked, but just talk us through having Elton back in the camp and the selection dilemma it now puts, because you've now got, yes, 2 flyers are nursing injuries, but you've now got 4 quality flyers in the group to pick from, and especially you have to narrow the squad down to 33 for the World Cup.
Yeah, no, I think, like we mentioned last week, the Elton, or let me start like this. Elton is like all the other players, like a John Klein, like we follow or do roadmaps on players, probably 60, 70 players. And obviously, with the 2 injuries that we had last week, we only had Marnie standing as a fly-off, you know. And Elton is, how great is that to have the ability to fall back on an experienced guy like Elton, you know, who's, I think he's close to 50 test matches and he's been in our environment. So it's nice to get him in the mix for the 2 injured guys. But we can, yeah, in a week or two's time, we can have all 4 fly-offs. But Elton was, as you would probably think, he was probably our fourth choice fly-off. And again, I'm saying how lucky we are in terms of depth to have a guy of his standard as a fourth choice available to us.
Can I maybe add to that? I think the benefit of that is a little bit, which people don't always think about, is that there's no pressure on Andre to rush that injury now. There's no pressure on Damien, who both will be very important for us leading into out of rugby championship into the 3 warm-up games going to the World Cup. With not having a fourth fly here, it's almost, when are you going to be ready, guys? When are you going to be ready? How are you going to be ready, Andre? Now it's take your time, heal that thing properly. And I think just maybe the update, I think there's a very good chance that Damien will be cleared next week, which is great. But, if we didn't have somebody, we almost would have been in a position to, because we almost like to force him. And this gives us the opportunity to get those guys settled slowly and be 100% ready when we select them.
John, just you talked about roadmaps now. I mean, Elton is sort of like the opposite of it, but just a guy like John, I mean, a lot of people wonder, you guys talk about your meticulous preparation in your roadmaps, but is he the type of guy that's experienced enough that he doesn't perhaps need to have been like 2 years at alignment camps and that type of thing, to actually grasp the system?
I think if you look at it, John Klein is. Let's look at a player's point of view. He knows the majority of the players. He was with you guys at Stormers. So if you think he knows Eben well, he knows CL well, he's played with him, Kitsi, Frans, Malherbe, Bongi. So he's been in. So from a player perspective, I think him coming into the mix, it's players that he knows, that he played with. They trust him, he trusts them. So I think in terms of that, from a player point of view, and then from our point of view, we obviously coached him at the Stormers and we coached him at Munster. He brought him over to Munster, so we coached him 2 years there. So I think in terms of that, we know what we have in a guy like John Klein and what he can bring to the Springboks. So yes, and yeah, we obviously when we did roadmaps on him as well. The moment he wasn't selected or not selected for Ireland, he was constantly a guy that we had our eye on, like all the other guys.
Thank you.
Rassi, I'll put this question into one. First, can you just get your thoughts on Derek being hospitalized and any well wishes? And just secondly, just talk us through the importance of the Currie Cup. I mean, 3 states are back in the final. You would have played in the 2004 final, coached in the 2005 final, so the Currie Cup would have a very, very special place in your heart.
I think maybe I almost answer the second question first. Now, I think the Currie Cup always builds up, and here when it gets to semi-final, final, then it becomes something that we're all glued to, and because it's a massive thing. I won't say it's lucky to have Griquas and Pumas in a final, but it's been so. Pumas and Cheetahs. It was so close at the end of the log, and who's going to get in, and how the Western Province must start. And for those teams to be in a final, it's sort of a feeling they don't always play these big franchise rugby and get all the opportunities. But with the status in our hearts with the Currie Cup, it's a nice feeling. I mean, not by any means. I'm not glad the Bulls weren't there. I'm not glad that the other teams didn't make it, but it feels like those 2 teams also have an opportunity to maybe pack that stadium out in Bloemfontein. And the way the 2 games went this last weekend was really enjoyable to watch. So the Currie Cup will always a really warm-hearted love that we have towards that, and I think it's panned out to be exactly the same this year. I hope that answered that question. And then Derek, I don't know exactly the situation, and I don't know what 100% the thing that's going on there. I mean, Al, he's been here in Pretoria. I played against him many times. I had to catch his kickoffs. That first one was always hanging on the 6 or 7 flank, and you got Bakkies and those guys changing at you. It was always tough. And now I think I'm not know what is his battle currently exactly, but yeah, we just hope his family is okay and he's okay, and we can just pray and send our love to them.
Question? No? Is this the quickest response? Cool. Afrikaans and is it cool?
Okay, I'll Start sports. Okay, must only some matter. We wanna so.
Yeah.
Okay, but kuzokwa besisambuza ngokuqeqeshiwe ngokubanzi kunzulu umonakalo wakho wathi ke akazokwazi ukuplayela lokuziphelela ngokwakho. Bekunjani xa usicacisile nje ngale ndlela lomonakalo wakho kuba bekunjani wenzakele kangakanani na nje lembilini yakho cisha kubuye lokusaphila kulo monakalo wakho Dona.
Angikwazi ukuthetha bakwenzeke ntoni but ibile idolo ndenze i-operation and ndenze i-rehab ngobhuti so and benithilo early on basinto entsha kum andiqala ukonzakala before kuphele World Cup and loo nto indinika motivation because basendisuka kuyo loo nto but kunzima but yonke imihla babhetere qho ngemihla and yonke izinto zihamba kakuhle and ezi zinto zihamba ngoku ndingadlala before iqala i-World Cup. Yeah. No, ndandisoyika kakhulu especially ngoku esibhedlela ndotshekisha ndenze i-scans and then yabo but into ebalulekileyo i-support staff around wena nefamily yakho and then ne-medical team once bona babe ne-confidence kule situation then indenza mna ndiphole kancinci but umsebenzi usemninzi but ndiyazazi seke ndayenza before ndizawuphinda ndiyenze namhlanje.
Yes. Ik wil graag veel vragen stellen. Als ik vraag niet over zaken.
Wat is Percy?
So Jacques, we begin met jou. Firstly, let the boat here.
Oh, thank you, Percy.
Coach, Jacques, kan ik je vragen, net gemeente na die tweede week, hoe is de atmosfeer in die kamp? Hoe voel je weer de vordering zo ver met je? En als je kijkt naar, je hebt gepraat een beetje af van die blesserings, als je gemakkelijk met waaien is voor de eerste tussen Australië. Dus maar wat vraag voor Rassie, het is een Afrikaans dan natuurlijk. Wie gaan jullie die termen gebruiken? Onze span wat op ons, ik weet niet zelf naar Israël of naar Springbokken, maar ons groeien en tweede kansen. Wij stellen heeft dezelfde impact op elke jantje wat terug in die groep is. En wat specifiek maakt hem zo'n speciale speler dat jullie geloof, hij is een waardevolle speler voor jullie in die Springbokken groep. En dat is een kwestie rondom die Caribbean manier. En nog een term wat je vorig jaar gebruikt was, die term wat je gebruikt is die term ponyspelers. Hierdie spanne Caribbean spanne finaliste, hulle werk hard om uit te kom weer eens op Thomas van die eindstryd. Wat moet daai spanne en spelers doen om erkenning te kry van Rassie Erasmus, van nasionale erkenning te kry om moontlik op in hierdie posisie te wees?
Ja, ons sal begin met wat maak altyd 'n spesiale meeting, ek dink dit was die eerste vraag.
Tweede kanse.
Ja, ek dink Percy, ek weet dis ons gaan kyk. Ek dink jy gaan kyk in 2021. Het Elton gekies as SA super rugby speler van die dekade. You know, ons as 'n span in ander ligas speel en kompetisies speel, byvoorbeeld die Japaneese liga. 'n speler wat by ons was, Kwagga, Pieter Steef de Tooy. Dit is redelik maklik om daai ons in 'n kompetisie of die kompetisie op 'n hoë of 'n lae vlak is om ons te evalueer, want jy ken die speler goed en jy kyk na sy aksies en jy kyk na sy fiksheid en jy kyk hoe hy doen. Ja, en dis presies wat ons maar dieselfde met Elton gedoen het, jy weet. Weer dit was nommer 4. Was 'n besering gekry en ons wil nie hê Andre en Damien hulle self in 'n blik druk om gereed te wees vir daai eerste toets. En want ons het maar wat staan, ons kan nooit in 'n toetsing gaan met jy weet dat miskien gaan ons weer met 'n 6-2 split. Jy weet of miskien moet ons dan met 'n 5-3 gaan. Dis ou so Damien nie beskikbaar as hy wat 3 posisies cover. En ja, ek dink as jy op 46 toetse, 47 toetse wat super afgespeel van die dekade was in terme van stats en wat nog nou die dag vir ons die All Black game gewen het in 2019 en vir ons gestart het laas jaar teen Australië. So daar's net klop goed wat hy moet leer of ken en weer eens as dit kom by sy bydrae met jonger ouens in die span op die veld en te wys wat hy hardgebly het, sy skoptegniek waarmee die ander onsself so daar's soveel goed wat 'n mens kan sê. So ja, hy verdien definitief 'n kans om ek is seker of hy Australië toets gaan speel, net hang af of Damien gou genoeg herstel, dit is maar basies die ding wat van die merker wees. Dan hier gevra oor die Currie Cup, Kyk op, ek dink die feit dat die Pumas en Cheetahs in die finale is, ek dink dis iets great. Ek dink dis ons almal sien hulle in die speler vir daar speel, ken ons al so goed en ons het die balle op. Wat is 'n roadmap in Engels? 'n pad. En jy weet daar is plonie spelers by hulle ook. Daar is spelers by hulle wat ons bydra voor. Ons gaan nie daar spelers wat ons geoogmerk het wat ons gedink het want Willie was een van hulle jy weet daar's een of twee maar nie konfidensiële inligting uitgegee. So definitief is daar spelers by die Pumas en by die Cheetahs wat plonie spelers is. Onthou 'n plonie speler is 'n player of national interest. Iemand wat moontlik nog vir die Springbokke kan speel. Ons het 'n klomp plonie spelers wat onder 20 is. So dit vary. Dis nie almal net ouers wat baie naby aan die Springbokspan is nie. Dis spelers wat in die toekoms nog moontlik vir die Springbokspan kan speel. So ek dink ons reward kan al klaar en ek dink vir Jimmy en Harvey om in die Currie Cup finaal te wees en al daai spelers is al klaar massiewe eer. En gewoonlik in 'n World Cup jaar nog altyd in 2007, ek dink in 2019 gaan die topspelers nie in die Currie Cup speel. Want dis 'n World Cup jaar en die fokus is daar. So dis great dat daai twee spanne in die finale is. Nie dat ek dink die anders van hulle moenie al wees nie, maar ek dink dit is al klaar genoeg van 'n satisfaksie. Ons kan eintlik baie veel meer van hulle doen as om ploegspelers daar te hê en bly as hulle speel en ja, ek kan nie regtig verder sien wat ons kan doen.
Percy, in terme van uit die aard van die saak, die energie is goed in die span op die stadium. Ek dink almal op die stadium dink hulle kan die wêreldbeker wen. Want daar's nog nie druk op nie, die toetse het nog nie begin nie. Maar in terme van ons en in terme van ons voorbereiding is maar om vas te lê dit wat ons laasweek aan gewerk het en dan om laagie vir laagie daarop te bou. Ons is nog seker nie, ons is definitief nie die afgeronde produk nie en daar's nog baie werk wat gedoen moet word. En ek dink een van die aspekte wat ons hierdie week ingebring het is ons het Jacob Piper saam met ons voordat hy gaan vertrek. Ek dink hulle kamp vir die wêreldbeker begin in Toulouse, ek dink oor die naweek. So dis lekker om hom by ons te hê. So hy gaan maar net saam met ons weer deur al die nuwe World Rugby directives en maak ons maar net weer attent op touch ons half op die reels en laat ons net almal weer 'n bietjie align is met die referee goed ook. So dis lekker om hom hier te hê en ons wens hom ook al die sterkte toe vir sy toernooi.
Kan jy so en dan ja, dit kan dit so.
Okay. Alikuwa khuluma ukhathi njengako awuqala ngingayiboni. Akuthi ucacisele ngala mahluko omsebenzi wehlabathi izintashi nomahluko kwabo ubonile eqephumele indebe kuba umuntu ujonge indlela ukuba izawuthini indlela yenu njengoba libhekana nehlabathi.
Yeah, siyayazi ngoba sasiye the last time sasi akhomdwa expect basawina thina sasi I think number 5 ehlabathini, but ngoku sithi abambe i-World Cup and sonyanzele siyayazi umsebenzi funeka simenzile and izaba nzima because maninzi amaqela angayiwina the World Cup and I think into entle for irugby leyo, and that's why I think ucoach Rasi noJack benze i-research kakhulu because since 2019 irugby itshintshe kakhulu, so kunyanzeleka siadaptele into ezininzi and sifuna into ezininzi apha eCape. So nathi siyayazi asihambe ngalaa hlobo besihamba ngalo the last time, into ezininzi zizawutshintsha and nathi sifuna into ezininzi apha etimini, but into ezibalulekileyo ukuthi azizotshintsha apha etimini but kuzonika izinto ezifuneka sizenzile siyitim.
Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Why are you nodding?
I hear you speak Ninja.
No, what is the law? No, what you not?
Just give me one. When are you speaking in Afrikaans? I can't. Can you? What?
Everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's guide, how to watch the Super Rugby final. It is all coming down to the Crusaders and the Chiefs. Would it be yet another Crusaders title, or will the Chiefs be able to dethrone the current champion Scott Robertson in his final as a Crusaders coach before he then does become the All Blacks coach next year? So a pretty big occasion for him. And I'll tell you what, if you looked at the Crusaders in the last couple of weeks, it's very difficult to bet for anybody else except for them. But I'll tell you what, the Chiefs are a side where they pitch up. They can definitely do it. So I think it's set to be an absolute cracker. And hopefully it will be a match that really sort of lives up to the billing. But in terms of how to watch all the action and make sure you don't miss any of it, this is what we're here to show you. First of all, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, the good news is it is being shown on Channel 9, which is a free-to-air broadcaster. So if you're inside Australia, you'll be able to watch it. If you're outside Australia, you'll still be able to watch it free, but through the use of a VPN, which is a virtual private network. Basically, what a VPN does, it geolocates your device to make it seem as if you are somewhere else, in this case, in Australia. And so first things first, you're going to download a VPN. We recommend ExpressVPN, link down in the description, as well as Bitdefender, who are one of our channel partners. So you go and check them out. Those are the two options down in the comments below. Both of them will work. And what you're going to do is you're going to, so they're going to show you ExpressVPN. You're going to install it. This is what it's going to look like. As you can see, I'm currently connected to a Sydney server in Australia. You're going to go to those three dots on the right here. You'll find and select an Australian server, and then you will turn it on. Because it's turned on, that is currently Channel 9 that we're busy watching. As you can see by the TV guide, this is the final over there, Chiefs versus Crusaders, being shown over there. Kickoff is at 9 o'clock South African Standard Time, and it is available on Channel 9. And as I said, there it is currently happening. If unfortunately you do not have a VPN, then if you go to that channel and you're not connected to an Australia server, you will not be able to watch any of the action. It will not work because it is only available, it is geolocated in Australia. So if you try and go to the website, even if the website, before you even try and watch anything, you'll come up with this page over here saying it's geo-blocked. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Apart from that, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon. Right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's Rugby News Live. We are back with the live shows. It's the international season upon us, and we're going to be having 3 live shows a week minimum, really. And that's going to basically be the plan from now through into the World Cup. When the World Cup starts, we could even be looking at a daily news show. Still busy doing a lot of, obviously, World Cup planning and stuff like that, deciding exactly what our coverage is going to look like. And as soon as we know what our coverage is going to look like, you'll know what our coverage is going to look like. We'll have a cool announcement to show you exactly what we're planning on doing for the World Cup. All I can say is that things are well on their way in terms of planning, and we are hoping that we will have an announcement very, very soon, hopefully in the next month, of what we're going to be doing for the World Cup. So, yeah, basically today we're going to be looking at all the latest news. We're going to be looking at John Klein and whether he's going to be potentially making a Springbok debut. We're going to be looking at England's 38-man squad. We're going to be talking about Dirk Hoogaard, who's currently in hospital. We're going to be talking about an announcement of the Samoa squad with a couple of big names involved in that. We're going to talk about some of the latest transfer and stuff like that. So quite a lot to get through over the next sort of hour. And we've got a poll running in the comments, and the poll is: should Jean Klein start for the Boks against Australia? And that is what we are going to discuss, and then we obviously go through some of the other stuff like that. So yeah, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe if you are new to the channel, and let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so Jean Klein. So a report has come out yesterday that has confirmed that Jean Klein has officially been cleared to play for the Springboks, which means that he will be available for selection come the first test against Australia in a few weeks' time. Now, a couple of things about the Springbok squad. First of all, Rassie Erasmus has confirmed that they will split the squad between the Australia and the New Zealand test, with a bulk of the squad actually going over to New Zealand before the first Australian test. And so it'll be two very different sides that will play the first two opening matches against the Rugby Championship, as there's then a little break before that final match against Argentina. And this sort of then begs the question, where will Jean-Claude fit in? Now, there's no Evan Etzebeth for the Rugby Championship, which means there's already a pretty big gap at 4. Now, obviously, Archie Snyman can fill it. Franco Master could fill it if he needed to. But Marvin always generally really is a out-and-out sort of 5 lock. Jean-Luc Dupré is supposed to be loaning up with the side pretty soon, so he could potentially move in there. But for me, your like-for-like replacement is Evan Etzebeth, and I think that, for Evan Etzebeth is Jean-Claude, and that now that he's been cleared, I don't see why we do not start him in that first test against Australia. I think it's the perfect sort of quality opposition, a home debut as well in front of a home crowd. I think it ticks every single box to give him the debut that he needs and to start already integrating him into the Springbok squad. The question then sort of obviously for that he has to then prove is, can he then push for a World Cup spot? Now, I personally don't think that he's that far away from potential World Cup squad. I think that if he starts playing well, I think they'll look at him ahead of Marvin Orie, for example, because I think Archie Snyman has been playing at 5 for Munster, for example, the last couple of months, started doing a lot more line-out work. So, yeah, I'd be very surprised if Marvin Orie doesn't go to the World Cup, but the only reason he wouldn't is if Jean-Claude really puts his hand up and starts playing really well. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see players, going out there. And look, I think that Marvin Orie could very well be the lock partner for Jean-Claude in that first game. Alternatively, you could be starting him next to Archie Snyman, which also would be a pretty good idea for me, would be to play Jean-Claude next to Archie Snyman in that Australia test. And you then start, like a Franco Master Lua Diago or an Archie Snyman Lua Diago or Franco Master. But for me, you're sending Franco Master to New Zealand. If you're sending, your better squad to New Zealand, Franco Master is part of that. So it'll be very interesting to see what that first this first box squad against Australia's team is going to look like, because that's obviously going to give an indication of what the team against New Zealand would look like, which is, we do play New Zealand twice, but our biggest game of the season really before the World Cup, because when it comes to rugby championships, you can never take Australia for granted. But a home test against Australia, you're kind of thinking, well, we've got to make sure we get that done. We then got a home test against Argentina, so you beat Australia, then basically the expectation as well, you're then playing against New Zealand for the Rugby Championship. You beat New Zealand, you've beaten Australia, you then throw everything at Argentina. We should have enough to beat them, especially at home at Ellis Park. You win the Rugby Championship. And that's exactly what you want to do going into the World Cup. I can tell you right now, Springbok staff are looking at these games going, we want to win all 3. We want to win the Rugby Championship games. We want to try and win the Rugby Championship. Yes, they will experiment. There's no doubt about that. There will be certain players who will play who won't be going to the World Cup. I think Evan Lewis will get a game in those 3. I don't think he'll go to the World Cup. I think Marco Verstappen will play across some of those games. I don't think he'll go to the World Cup. Alton Yankees will play a part potentially. At this stage, I don't think he goes to the World Cup. So there are a lot of players who will play in these games that won't go to the World Cup. But the focus would still definitely be on trying to win the Rugby Championship. There's no doubt about that. I think that the concept of momentum, the concept of going into the World Cup, having really sort of set the standards and really, come out firing, will give the confidence into the squad I think reaffirm the confidence that they can win the World Cup. I think that there's very few people in that squad that don't believe it. But whenever there's a little bit of doubt and stuff like that, going and winning the Rugby Championship, that really sort of cements your sort of attitude that you can win the World Cup. And momentum and is a big thing. And I don't think you can ever rule out how important momentum is in any sort of sport, in any condition. But, it's winning's a habit, losing's a habit type thing. So, yes, whilst you need to experiment and, it's okay to lose a couple of games, ideally, you obviously want to be able to experiment. You want to be able to put the final touches onto your game whilst winning games, whilst winning tournaments, and, whilst putting yourself in the best position to go back-to-back Rugby World Cups, which would cement the Springbok side as the best Springbok side ever. And that, I don't mean things I don't have opinion. Some people might sit there and say, on paper, they might have been a better Springbok team somewhere along the line. But no Springbok team, if you're looking at the core of the team, has gone back-to-back World Cups, 2 Rugby Championships, if you were to win the Rugby Championship this season, British and Irish Lions Series, there's they've won it all. They've already won it all, really. The question is, can they win it again? So they're already one of the best Springbok sides ever. If they were to win the World Cup again this year, I think that cements them as the best Springbok side ever, and arguably one of the best teams ever, because that New Zealand team that won in 2011 and 2015 drew the British and Irish Lions series in 2017. Now, obviously, you're now looking at a much bigger period. Now we're looking at a 4-year period, whereas New Zealand, you're looking at sort of 6-7 year period. So not necessarily comparing apples with apples, but as great teams go, this would have to be one of them. In terms of a 4-year period, winning the Rugby Championship, a World Cup, and a British and Irish Lions series, and potentially, maybe even a Rugby Championship in between them, it does put them in the conversations of one of the best teams ever. We want to be in those conversations, don't we? And I think the Rugby Championship is important because one of the things that Springboks have always struggled with, and one of the reasons maybe they don't get sometimes they don't get the respect they deserve, is their ability to be consistent between World Cup cycles. And, that 2007, 2009 British and Irish Lions series, for example, was really good, but and winning Tri Nations in there. But that's something that for example, New Zealand has done so well over the years, is that they pick up rugby championships like it's going out of fashion. So when all of a sudden they win the Rugby World Cup, and I mean, they've won 3, South Africa won 3. They've usually got 2 or 3 rugby championships in and amongst that sort of 4 to 5 year period. And that's what's established them as the greatest rugby nation in the last sort of 20 to 30 years of the professional era, is that they pick up trophies like it's going out of fashion. That's something that the Springboks really need to work on. So that's why I think winning the Rugby Championship is important, because it's not just about pitching up for World Cups or for British and Irish Lions series. It's about winning trophies along the way. And that's more than just, your freedom trophies and your, stuff like that. We don't have a Bledisloe Cup, for example, which, is mean. I mean, we've got different sort of trophies that we can win in terms of in the internal rivalries between various nations, but nothing that really comes close to, a Calcutta Cup, for example, in the Six Nations, and a Bledisloe Cup. We don't really have that. So winning rugby championships along the way and throughout sort of this various seasons, over and above winning World Cups, is what would really make the Springboks one of the best, considered the greatest nation, rugby nation, or one of the best teams of all time. They really are, obviously, within the top 3 all the time. But I think it's safe to say that New Zealand have been the dominant force in professional rugby from an international perspective. If the Springboks want to become that, we need to win more trophies in between Rugby World Cup cycles. So let's see. As I said, we'll probably, next week we'll probably start to, break down the kind of teams we might see a bit more, because, we're looking at about 2 weeks until our first Springbok team is announced. If we do stick to the Tuesday announcement, which generally has been the case of late. So that'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, if that is the case. Tomorrow we do have a Springbok press conference, so we can get a bit more information on where the squad's at, if there are any other injuries. Alton Yankees is supposed to be coming into camp yesterday, so it's supposed to start today. So yeah, we can obviously get a lot more of those squad updates from the Springbok coaches themselves tomorrow. I believe it's Rassie Rasmus and a player who are fronting the media. I'm not even sure if Jacques Nobel is actually part of it. I can go and check over here. Yeah, so yeah, Jacques Nobel and Rassie Rasmus, as well as a player, will be in the press conference tomorrow. So we'll be there tomorrow. We'll bring you guys the press conference, and yeah, we'll hopefully get some more information on what we can expect from the Bok perspective over the next few weeks tomorrow. So that's pretty much your Springbok update. As I said, Jean Klein has been cleared to play, and therefore could be set to start in that first Rugby Championship game. Right, now let's talk about England, shall we? Because this is the squad that they have announced for a Brighton training camp. Let me bring up the article there as well. Okay, so that is the squad that has been announced. Now, there we go. Let's go through it. So it's a 38-man squad. A bit like the Springbok squad, much bigger than the World Cup squad. Although, to be fair, only 5 players will need to be cut from this one, so it's not that big. The Springbok squad's sitting about 42, 43, I think, now. But the big news for England is that Ollie Lawrence and Jack Walker, the bar centre and the Harlequins hooker, are expected to be available for the World Cup selection. They are get injured during training, and as a result, you can see that they are not part of the squad. So call it a 40-man squad, really, if you were to add those 2 in. but they do expect them to be available for the World Cup. So coming from the out of the press release, this is what Steve Borthwick had to say. He said, after an excellent first week's training, we are very much looking forward to being in Brighton. We are pleased to welcome players from Northampton Saints and Leicester Tigers, who can start to integrate themselves in the group. And we look forward to players from Sale Sharks and Saracens joining us in a fortnight. So this squad will obviously still get bigger. We still need to, there's no Owen Farrell, for example, and the likes. So it's an ever-growing squad that they're working with. So that it's a difficult one to really sort of break down, considering that at this stage, this is a squad without the players from the two best teams in the English Premiership. So we could be looking at anything sort of 50 plus squad in the end. That will then obviously have to be trimmed down. I think a lot of this will be, an opportunity for players to get used to the systems. A lot of these players will not be on the plane to France, but these are going to be the players that are really sort of looking at your injury roster. So if you were to look at your backup players and in your roster, for example, a lot of the players here involved will be part of that roster. And for them, it's about getting alignment, being part of the setup so that if they get called into the World Cup in an emergency situation, they're not coming in cold. They're kind of coming in and understanding the setup and knowing what's going on. So, yeah, as I said, so we can go through some of them. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at the big names here, Joe Marler was recalled into the squad. Charlie Ewell's played a couple of Currie Cup matches and then has gone back. Alex Donbrand's still involved there. Some big absentees, obviously, Sam Simmons ruling himself out of the World Cup. Jack Noel doing the same thing, saying that they're not available for the World Cup, which is an interesting concept, isn't it? Players making themselves unavailable for a World Cup so that they can be ready for their club season next season. I think it shows you the shift towards, with club rugby being, one of the pinnacle of rugby, which I don't think will be anytime soon. But Spence Smith's an interesting inclusion there. I like Alex Mitchell as a player. Good to see him there. Johnny May's still around. A couple of other big players. I like Henry Arundel. I think he's a good player as well. A lot of scrum masters in the squad. If you're looking at some of the forwards there, Sam Underhill involved. Obviously, Carl Sinclair's going to be around there. So there's a lot of players here, which are a lot of the sort of the usual suspects, but there's also a lot of players here who, as I said, just will not be involved when it comes to that final selection. So yeah, what do you guys think of this of this England squad? Again, it's difficult to really look at it because we're still waiting on some of their best players. I'm very interested to see what England will be like because, I mean, we're all being honest, they're not look great under Borthwick just yet. It's still a very interesting decision to have made that decision so quickly. They've got a couple of warm-up games, so they've got to try and really get to grips with things. And Borthwick said that the first phase of our preparation continues to focus on ensuring that players are physically equipped for what we need to do in a World Cup campaign. That means the training will be tough and purposeful. The players are rising to the challenge. We'll work hard again this week and we'll enjoy some time together off the field too, which is also an important part of our preparation. So they've obviously got they're now in training camp. They're now looking at, getting up to full fitness. They don't have to worry about playing rugby for another month or two. Their warm-up games only start in August. So they've got a bit of time to really sort of sit there and go, right, people have now had 2 to 3 weeks off. They've been relaxed stuff. Now it's about ramping it up, getting themselves into top conditions so that they can then be in playing ready conditions come August. And so it's a very different type of preparation that the Southern Hemisphere sides have because we've obviously got a whole rugby championship ahead. So we do get more matches close to the World Cup. We haven't had a Six Nations campaign. We haven't had the 5 matches that these nations have. So we will have fewer matches going into the World Cup this year than the Northern Hemisphere teams, the Northern Six Nations teams. Which it's difficult to know if it's a good or a bad thing. Yes, obviously you'd like to have as much preparation as possible. At the same time, though, you also want to have quite a consistent build up to the World Cup. Do you want to be playing 6 matches in 2 months for the World Cup, or would you rather be playing 3 to 4 matches, in the lead up to the World Cup? It's difficult to know which is the ideal situation. What is interesting is the fact that World Rugby have stepped in to ensure that there is a proper World Cup warm-up season almost, basically, you know, and that all smaller nations, all tier 2 nations, all are going to have genuine warm-up games moving into the World Cup, so that they have the best opportunity of being ready. And this is something that, you know, tier 2 nations haven't had in the past. They've really struggled when they've just kind of been told, you know, you kind of rock up the World Cup. They might get maybe one game in before, but they don't have the resources to be playing several warm-up games and having a proper pre-season, for example. Now, World Rugby has stepped in and said, cool, they're going to help fund a proper warm-up season and warm-up sort of games where all teams can get some game time against also top tier nations. You know, it's not just, you know, you can't expect Samoa and your Tongas, who've released 2 very good shots, by the way. We're going to talk about the Samoa squad. You can't expect them to be able to rock up the World Cup and compete with New Zealand if they've only been playing against Spain and the likes in the last year. And that's no disrespect to Spain, but it's just there's levels to the game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much that makes a difference when it comes to the tier 2 nations. I'm trying to find the Samoa squad graphic so that I can bring it up, because it's quite an interesting squad. Where we at? I had it somewhere. A couple of pretty cool players announced in that squad. Right, here it is. Okay, so that is the Samoa squad that has been announced, and 3 ex-All Blacks and a Wallaby named in the squad. It's a very good squad. It's a very exciting squad. Now, the big names to look out for are, you know, a couple of players who have obviously changed allegiance through the new eligibility laws. So if we look at the 3 ex-All Blacks, there are Charlie Faumina, Stephen Luata, and Lima Supawaga. I mean, to be able to add Lima Supawaga to this side is pretty childish. I mean, what a player he is. And then, as if your fly half depth's not good enough with him, they then also added Christian Leilofana, who obviously played many a game for the Wallabies, also top quality fly half, to the side. So it's a really, really cool team. And for me, they've got some really good players in some pretty good positions. But I think for me, like Leilofana, I mean, that's just such a cool, good news story. He played, I think, about 20 odd caps for Australia. He's had so many injuries, and so much that he's had to deal with, even before in 2017 when he was actually diagnosed with leukemia. And I think it was actually back in 2000. When was he? I think in August he started making his return. But yeah, obviously he was diagnosed with leukemia, had to come back from it, and has successfully come back from it. He played a bit in Japan, and now he's been playing for Moana Pacifica in the last couple of years. And now he's going to he's going to go to a World Cup. It's the pre-World Cup spot, but he's going to go to a World Cup. So I think that's really, really cool. I mean, in terms of a good news story, to see that Christian Leilofana is going to be at a World Cup, I don't think it gets much better than that, to be perfectly honest. I also think that I love watching Lima Supawaga play rugby. Absolutely love it. Like we all love watching, top flower halves playing, and Supawaga made the big decision to leave New Zealand and give up his All Blacks career. But now it's an interesting way of getting them back. So if you look at other sort of names, Mark Alalatua in the front row obviously plays for Leinster. Jeff Tumaga Allen's a nice player. Tim Nana Williams is a good player. It's a very good squad. I'm very keen to see what they're going to look like in those warm-up games, and how they are going to be, how competitive they're going to be. It's because there's no reason why this team cannot push some of the top teams, and that's what we want to see. You know, maybe some people don't like the eligibility laws, but I tell you what, it's going to make for a far more competitive World Cup. There's no doubt that your Fijis, your Samoas, your Tongas are almost 10 times stronger than they are in previous years, because they've suddenly got a lot of the players who dreamed of being an All Black going there, moving back towards, and I think that will encourage more players to be able to want to play for a Tonga, a Samoa, a Fiji, and not necessarily always chase the All Black dream. So it'll be interesting to see how sort of they go about that. But that's a pretty cool Manu Samoa squad, and obviously we'll sort of dissect that a little bit more as we get to the World Cup. We'll kind of do a bit of a deep dive into some of the squads, the players to watch, and the likes. So yeah, that's some of the squad news, and then on to some pretty depressing news. But we wait and see. Is that Derek Hurkard is currently battling for his life. It was reported that he was in a coma last week. He's 40 years old. He's been in a coma for over a week already. And over the weekend, there was a report coming out that said that he had a 50% chance of actually making it. So there has been no updates since then. So I suppose in many ways, sometimes no news is good news. He is still currently fighting in ICU, but he remains in a critical condition down in Pretoria. So yeah, thoughts go out to the family, and we really hope that he does pull through. One of the players, if you listen to all the tributes that's come out, for example, he's one of the most liked players out there. He's not. There's very few people that have come out and said anything bad about him, I think, ever. One of the most likable people, really, really down to earth, really humble type of person. And yeah, we really hope that he can pull through, and hopefully we'll get good news on him as the week goes by. But for now, he remains in a critical condition. There has been no massive update since the weekend. So yeah, thoughts go out to his family, and fingers crossed that we can hear better news as the week goes by. In terms of other news, what else have we got here? What haven't we spoken about? There's a All Blacks game versus, a New Zealand game. New Zealand game, a Wallabies game, a Wallabies Australia A game that was announced today. Where is it? Australia A are taking on Tonga in July, on the 14th of July. So that's going to be quite a cool game. We might even be doing it. So it'll be in Tonga as well, which would be quite cool. It'll be interesting to see the Australia A side that they put out there. Other news, for example, Ospreys has signed with Macron as a clothing partner. What else have we got here? Some of the news floating around here. Obviously, yesterday we had the All Black squad announcement. This weekend we saw Toulouse beating La Rochelle to win the top 14. I think that's pretty much it. I think a lot more news will sort of filter in. Obviously, today is Monday. We're still going to do quite a lot, to be fair. And tomorrow, hopefully, we will hear a bit more from the Springboks and get some news from them. Some of the comments, Vic saying we must use the match against Australia and Argentina to get the non-stars to get a lot of game time. Tian says perhaps overshadowed by Tonga squad, but Samoa is looking properly strong. Upsets on the horizon. I'm in for it. I think there's definitely going to be a few upsets in this World Cup. I think this is not going to be, like Japan beating the Box and Brighton all those years ago. I think we could see a few of those in the World Cup at the rate we're going with some of the squads that are being announced. So hopefully that will be the case, because it'll be a lot of fun to see some of these updates. Tian saying also praying for a full recovery for Derek Hurkard. And then Sean O'Farrell saying, what do you think of this World League? The World Rugby will say come after the Rugby World Cup 2023. It doesn't sound good. I think it ignores a lot of the Tier 2 nations issues, which is always kind of the case when it comes to World Rugby, isn't it? They're not particularly good at doing their job of developing rugby nations. So yeah, I'm a bit skeptical about it. Obviously, I think we'll have to wait and find the final plan before we make a final judgment. But off the top of my head, I don't think it's a particularly good idea. I don't like the way it's being done and sort of the initial plans. I do think it's going to be very much it's a bit like an old boys club, It's all the elite teams kind of in one section and a whole different section. Then all of a sudden, and teams won't get opportunities. And we're seeing now, as I said, with Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, how some of these teams are getting stronger. Georgia have done a lot of really good work to build their rugby up, and we need to keep encouraging that and keep facilitating that, not shutting it down. And I think in any sort of league which will exclude them from the table is not going to do anything good for rugby in general. But unfortunately, World Rugby at the moment, just we don't really trust them, do we, to be making the right calls for the development of rugby. And hopefully we get proven wrong. But at the moment, they're just not making a lot of big strides in ensuring the Tier 2 nations become Tier 1 nations. And we want to move away from the concept of Tier 1, Tier 2 nations and just have 20 to 30 nations who are all pretty strong. Obviously your top 10 will be potentially a different league from your 10 to 20, but let's bridge the gap. Let's make it so that if 15 plays against 5, it's not a whitewash. you know, because that's the case in like a football. Anybody in the top 20 can beat each other type thing. You know, there's, yes, obviously the top 10 are, you know, the teams to beat, but there's not this dramatic drop down every single time you move down the rankings, which in rugby, it very much is the case. So that is all we have time for today. We'll be live again on Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be at the Springbok press conference, so we won't be able to do a live show. But yeah, we will be live tomorrow on Wednesday and again on Thursday. The fan forum is hopefully going to come back this weekend. We're just trying to find a time for it. So keep an eye out for that. That'll restart and carry on for the rest of the year, really. After a couple-week break, we had the guys who need a bit of time off stuff. Now we're ready to get it going again, and hopefully some cool announcements surrounding that. Also, I'd like to say a big shout out to Bitdefender, one of our new partners who started this weekend. We'll have an official announcement out today, sort of explaining a little bit more about the partnership. But in the meantime, please do check the description. If you need anything from a cybersecurity point of view, Bitdefender's got you on lockdown. They're making sure that all of our systems are not going to be compromised and that we're not going to get hacked and that we're going to be very, very safe during the World Cup and that nothing's going to go wrong. And I recommend doing the exact same thing. So go and check out Bitdefender. It's really affordable as well, which is really cool. Because sometimes cybersecurity can get stupidly expensive. But it's really affordable and really good. Check out the description and please go show them the support, because the more you guys support them, the more they support us, the better we can get and the more we can do for you. But apart from that, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you guys all on.
Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. You've tuned in to the Super Rugby final. It's the Chiefs versus the Crusaders at the FMG Stadium. It's kind of billed as an all-black trial in essence. A number of these players are actually going to be putting their hand up to say to the coach, you've selected me, and this is the reason why. So I hope you're all excited. It's going to be sensational. I'm just having a look at the starting lineups here, and I noticed that, I beg your pardon, Sam Whitelock is scheduled to play, but there was a report that he might not actually play today. So the Crusaders might be without their stalwart, but they're looking for title number 12. And in fact, their 7th title on the trot. They've won 6 out of 6 in the last Super Rugby finals. And that'll be interesting, though. For the Chiefs, their coach, Clayton McMillan, has definitely signed on in the week until 2026. So that keeps their structures in place. They had a wonderful season under a relatively unknown coach, but he'll look to put a feather in his cap by winning this title. But it's Super Rugby final, guys. Let's get excited. It's going to be sensational. It's Brodie Retallick, the All Black. He'll be looking to stamp his authority in this final for the Chiefs as we look forward to the New Zealand national anthem. It's a sold-out stadium in Hamilton. Interesting to know the Chiefs beat the Crusaders on 2 occasions in the round-robin stages this season. So 2 out of 2 for them. How will that psychologically play into their favour against the Crusaders? But it's finals rugby, and they know how to win. He looks pretty focused. The captain, Sam Kane. Oh, he's playing. It's Sam Whitelock. Just a little crack of the neck there. He says, I'm warm, I'm ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, kia ora to New Zealand fans from our friends around the globe. This is the Super Rugby final at the FMG Stadium. Let's rugby!
In Hamilton.
The talking is over. It's time to produce. As we take a look at Ben O'Keefe, the referee for this evening, he's supported by Angus Gardner, Nick Berry, the two assistants referees, and Brian Pickerel, the TMO. Final team talks now for the Crusaders and the Chiefs. As we take a look at the away finals, that's the one that the Chiefs will be looking to exploit on. 9 games away, won 5, lost 4. So the Chiefs at home have something to bite onto. As well as the Chiefs, though, 2 finals, 2 wins. Is that something to take a look at? Richie Mwanga, he will be key this evening. It's 10 versus 10. It's D-Mac versus Richie. We're just about underway. The countdown has begun. And there we go. The Super Rugby final is underway. The Chiefs play from deep inside their 22. Damien McKenzie now. He takes it up. McKenzie clears from inside his 22 and he finds touch. The Crusaders have possession just outside the 22 on the left-hand touchline, inside Chiefs territory. Set pieces crucial this evening. The 2 All Blacks, Scott Barrett, Sam Whitelock, finds his man. Moanga. Tamatai Williams takes it up in centre field. Drummond. The mark is called there. Imani Narawa takes the mark inside the 22 for the Chiefs. Chosen by Ian Foster as one of the new selections in the All Black squad. He'll be looking to put his hand up tonight, this evening, I beg your pardon. Makes a wonderful clearance. We're now up to the 10-meter line inside Crusaders territory. What a wonderful season he's had. Emoni Narawa. The Crusaders now feed the line out. Barrett off the top. Moanga. Again with Timothy Williams. Centre field, the big prop. They play quick now. Moanga short. Fainganuku coming off the left wing. He's wrapped up nicely now. Drummond. Moanga kicks downfield. Deep inside Chiefs territory. Stays in play. Sean Stevenson. Lovely little step. He hoofs it upfield. What a wonderful clearance from Sean Stevenson. He says, well, if you don't want to pick me, I'll show you, you have to pick me. Excellent work under pressure from the fullback. Completely bamboozled the defender, and under pressure made a wonderful clearance. But the Crusaders now on their 22-meter take the line out. Drummond off the base, kicks it high, lands on the 10-meter line. The Crusaders get it back. The referee playing a knock-on advantage. Leo Woolley with the ball out the back. Goodhue punches in. Eno takes it up, but the Chiefs wrap him up. The Crusaders still round about their 10-meter line. Moanga. The ball goes wide. It's Whitelock out on the wing. Little bit lateral now from the Crusaders, but they keep punching phase after phase. Referee calls user Drummond. Kicks off the base again. Looking for that 50-50. But it's Stevenson under the high ball. Just inside Chiefs territory. Damian McKenzie now. Emoni Narawa. The dancing feet. Webb at the base. The Chiefs up to the halfway line now. Oh, little fumble on there by D-Mac. Nenai Saturo there cleaning up for the Chiefs. They've lost a bit of ground, so D-Mac says, I'm going to punch it upfield. Bit of an aimless kick straight to Will Jordan. He kicks it deep. We're inside Chiefs 22. And Damian McKenzie says, I'll take some territory back. Thank you, sir. Little bit of a kicking territorial exchange there. Damian McKenzie, obviously chosen in that All Black squad earlier in the week. Wonderful to have him back as far as New Zealand fans are concerned and firing in all cylinders as the Crusaders look to set up a line-out. We're just inside Chiefs territory off the halfway line as the Crusaders win the ball. It's Mohanga now. Goodhue to Eno. We're in centre field. Referee's playing advantage. I suspect it's for not releasing the tackled player. Tom Christie, Mohanga, Goodhue, Dallas McLeod wrapped up there, but the referee says we're coming back. No advantage. The Crusaders have an opportunity now to get either deep inside Chiefs territory or have a shot at goal. Looks like they're taking the line out. 5 minutes in, it's been all Crusaders in as far as possession is concerned. As we see Moanga kick it right up to the 22-meter line. Left-hand touchline of the Chiefs. Inside the 22, in fact. They play quick. It's the ever-present Whitelock as the Crusaders come mauling. The engine starts working. And the advantage is being played now. It's a free play. It's Mohanga with a little grubber. Nenai Saturo cleans up, but the referee's coming back. The Crusaders about 10 meters out from the Chiefs' try line. The Chiefs under the pump now. They've decided to go for a line out, 5 meters out. They play quick. It's Mohanga. No, it's Fainganuku. Comes hitting hard. They play center field now. They're still 5 meters out. The Chiefs try and disrupt. It's Tamato Williams. He's been involved. A couple of carries already, 7 minutes in. Drummond again. Whitelock, the forwards, punching. The referee blows for the advantage. No advantage. It's a penalty. The tackled player not rolling away. And the Crusaders have decided to take a shot at goal. The Chiefs won't be able to keep up this tempo in defense. They'll need the ball. As we see Scott Barrett take it up. Because the referee adjudged the player, Samisoni Tokiaho, not rolling away there. And Richie Moanga has an opportunity now to put 3 points on the board for the Crusaders. He's definitely climbing that ladder of all-time point scorers. Moanga, over! The Crusaders hit the lead. It's 3 points to 0 in this crucial Super Rugby final. The crowd don't exactly like it, but there are definitely a few Crusaders fans around. The Crusaders take first blood. The Chiefs are going to need the ball. The Chiefs kick off. What a massive hit there on Dallas McLeod. Inside his 22, wonderful catch, but he was flattened. That's the intensity the Chiefs want. You took 3 points from us. We're coming back at you. Surely now, as Drummond kicks from the base. And he finds the touchline. We're just about on the 10-meter line, on the left-hand touchline. Still inside at Crusaders territory, though. So the Chiefs, wow, as we take a look at that hit. Good grief. So there seems to be a problem now. They're going to be taking a look at the tackle. Anton Leonard Brown might be in some serious trouble. Oh my, could this be a crucial moment in the final? We talk about those moments in such a high tempo, high important game. Could this be one of them? Yes, it is. It's a yellow card for Anton Leonard Brown. Fortunately, my nerves. Fortunately, it's not a red. So he's off for just 10 minutes there. Very, very lucky. Especially the way they've been blowing the games these days in as far as tackles are concerned. Any head-to-head contact, they've been rather harsh. So the Chiefs have the ball now, but they're one player down. As we look at the penalties conceded, the Crusaders 0, the Chiefs 4. So the Chiefs will be looking to wrap up on that discipline. The Chiefs had the ball, but the penalty was of course reversed. The Crusaders now have an opportunity with a set piece line out on the 10-meter line with their feed. Cody Taylor. As they go to ground, Drummond. Jack Goodhue hits it up hard. First phase. Retallick trying to disrupt, but Drummond gets the ball away now. Nenai Saturo with the catch on the 10-meter line. D-Mac pumps it upfield or into the 22 as Will Jordan runs it up. Looking for some territory. McKenzie with the wide pass. Trying to find some territory with the kicks now. Who's going to win this battle? It's McKenzie again from inside his 22. Been rather up and down, but he finds touch inside Crusaders territory on the 10-meter line. So a wonderful gain there for the Chiefs. just biding his time and then putting that kick into touch. The Crusaders have an opportunity again, though. The Chiefs starved of the ball. Mo'unga now plays hard. Tom Christie, he's folded in midfield. The Chiefs come in, running in. Almost spoiling the ball. Sam Cane goes in. There's too much argy-bargy going on there. The referee blows a penalty to the Crusaders. Got a bit wild there. Quick question. Who was the Crusaders fly half when the Crusaders won their first Super Rugby title back in 1998? Any fans out there know the answer? We're all rugby fans. Of course we know the answer. Rudy. As the Crusaders play quick through, Leo Willie. Another advantage to the Crusaders. Up the 10-meter line now of Chiefs territory, the Crusaders put up another phase. Ollie Jager. It's all a little bit loose now. He's still on advantage. Mo'unga with a chip into space. But the referee's going to come back. The Crusaders seem to have the intensity in this first 13 minutes of this crucial final, as the referee has a talking to Sam Cane. It's been 1, 2, 3, too many infringements. Let's fix it up, brother.